So welcome Dominic. I'm going to leave it to you. Så nästa band här är Dominic från BIMM Institute. Han kommer prata lite om songwriting. Välkomna. Go ahead.
Cool. All good? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Firstly, this is fantastic. Thank you very much for having me. This is super exciting. My name is Dominic Major. I'm from BIMM Manchester. I'm one of the lecturers at BIMM Manchester. We are an independent music college based in the UK and Europe. I lecture on the songwriting course for BIMM Manchester. A little bit of background about me. I've been songwriting and in the music industry for about the past 15 years. So quite a bit of experience. In that time, the role of the songwriter in the modern music industry has changed quite a bit. When I kind of started, it was very much, you would go into a room with just one instrument like an acoustic guitar or piano or bass guitar or an electric guitar, something like that. And you would kind of build a song based heavily around that. And then you would kind of record a song in demo form and you would take that song to a music producer and they would kind of work with that and build it up that way. Now, over the past few years, because of things like streaming and Spotify and Apple Music and the takeoff of things like that, the role of the songwriter has changed a little bit. But before I go into that as such, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my background, a little bit about what BIMM Manchester is and what you can expect from the songwriting course. So as I say, I've been a songwriter and in the music industry for the past 15 years. I've lived very much all over the place in terms of location. I've worked in many projects, along with mainly a lot of different songwriting projects, either as a ghostwriter, which is someone who is a songwriter but is kind of in the background, writes a song for a lot of artists. It's very, very common in the pop world, in the popular music world. I've also been a collaborator with bands and many, many record labels, both in the UK and in the EU, working with a lot of artists, doing a lot of collaboration projects on albums, especially kind of mainly to do with artists who English isn't their first language. So they have a lot of trouble with kind of lyric writing or lack confidence in lyric writing. And that was kind of my expertise as a songwriter when I first began. But over the years, I've done a lot of different things. Been a session musician, which is a musician who is kind of hired to do a specific job, whether that be kind of playing guitar for a tour or playing guitar in a band or playing guitar kind of on recording music for film or something like that. It's just like a person who has a specialist in an instrumentation. And I think that's kind of really important to note because in the music industry, it's kind of, everyone has this kind of portfolio career. And a portfolio career is the ability to kind of have many different skills in many different areas, as opposed to just being like, okay, I am a songwriter. I'm just going to write songs on the acoustic guitar and that's how I'm going to make all my money. And that's how I'm going to do everything that I can. That is great. And that's definitely an extremely viable option for people who do want to do that. However, it's good to be able to be versatile in the music industry. And I think that's really, really encouraged at BIMM and other music education in general. So yeah, I was a session musician for a little while, playing guitars in bands, released music as an artist myself, and based in a record label, which is in the UK called Baby Woman Records. Been signed with them for about 4 or 5 years now and done a variety of releases. But today I'm going to kind of show you and demonstrate some of the skills that you'll learn on the songwriting course. So the songwriting course at BIMM Manchester, it's very kind of performance heavy. So we do encourage performance. If you want to be a ghostwriter or a writer who isn't necessarily a performing songwriter, that's okay too. We teach a variety of skills, have a broad, very, very broad genre of artists. Some people who want to go down the more traditional singer-songwriter route, which is the kind of troubadour or troubadouress with the acoustic guitar, singing songs, telling stories. That's fantastic. A lot of people who write what I like to call in-the-box music, which is music based on a laptop. So electronic music or something like that. That's kind of encouraged. A lot of people who love rap music, a lot of rappers on the course, doesn't necessarily have to be someone who actually sings. A lot of songwriters who would prefer not to sing. So who kind of write songs they have to be, we do encourage singing so they can get their ideas across, but if they don't want to sing and they don't want to front a band, you know, that's completely cool too. It's such a wide variety of things that we cover and skills that are kind of necessary to succeed in the music industry, but we try and nurture at BIMM Manchester too. So for today, I'm going to take you through a journey that a song would kind of go on from the inception, the beginning of the song, whether that be on the acoustic guitar or the kind of coming up with a melody idea in your head, to then how that will evolve into a fully fledged kind of fleshed out song. So there's going to be 3 stages to this. The first stage is the kind of the initial idea of the song. The second stage is going to be what I like to call the demo process, which you kind of teach at BIMM Manchester how to develop these demos. And the third stage is actually going to be how these demo ideas can change and evolve over time into the actual finished idea. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate it by one of my songs, which is entitled Both Burn Bright, which is a song I wrote a few years ago. So the initial idea for the song, just bear with me, I'm going to grab my guitar. The initial idea for the song started actually on the acoustic guitar. Now, it isn't an acoustic song in its kind of finished form, quite far from it actually. But I'm just going to demonstrate how, as a songwriter in the modern music industry, it's good to be able to think kind of outside the box once you've created a song and then finish it off in its entirety going forward. Okay. So this song was originally about a time that I crashed my car on New Year's Eve once, and I was sat in the snow for what seemed like hours waiting for the pickup kind of company to come and collect my car and pull it out of this ditch. Luckily, I wasn't hurt, but it was a very interesting New Year's Eve. So this is entitled Both Burn Bright. I'll play you maybe a quarter to half of the song. We're in tune? Cool.
Do you wanna go for a ride? It's Friday night, the party's died, and all your friends are trying to mess up their lives. Show me the house that when I grow up I'll buy. Living out in different ways. Misbehave, you crystallize my tendency to always give up on faith. I've been to church, but the stories I can't buy. Well, I've tried to hide behind a funeral pyre and wait. Are you okay? Safe to say we've both had better days.
So that's kind of half of the song. The initial idea that I had, I didn't have the full song finished. I just knew that I had this kind of, this chord progression, which was kind of going around, just a very simple D, G, E minor, G kind of chord progression. Quite straightforward, very simple. And I had this kind of melody and these lyrics that were loosely based around a time in my life where stuff kind of went wrong for a little bit. Let's see what happens then. So once that initial idea is kind of taking form, what I would do then is I would head into a DAW, which is called a digital audio workstation, something like GarageBand, Logic, Pro Tools, somewhere where you can capture a musical performance on a computer and add arrangement ideas to it. Kind of start building the song up and doing that. So this is where the modern music industry has kind of changed the role as a songwriter. Now I'm going to touch on a few things, a few production-y kind of terms, but it isn't going to be, it's not really a production module, the songwriting course. but it's important that we know how to navigate and kind of get our ideas down in demo form on production systems like Logic and GarageBand and things like that. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen now. So here we go. Let's see if we can hear this. If you can hear this, just give me a thumbs up. Ace. Okay, so I have my initial idea. I have my kind of inception idea. So I'm just going to move this chair a tiny bit. I have my initial idea. Now, the first thing I want to do is get that chord progression down on a different instrument, or an instrument that I kind of thought would suit the process. So I did that on the piano. So let me just, let's see if we can hear this. 1 second. So this was the kind of the initial chord progression that I had on the guitar, which I've just literally played into Logic. So let's have a listen. Okay, so as you can tell, it's a very, very basic version of the chord progression. The chords are the same. The key of the song has stayed the same, but I've just added, well, it looks like I've called it a nylon synth piano. So something that is quite warm sounding, a little bit of delay you can hear on the right at the end there. Now, once I had the chords down, I've just literally copied and pasted them. We can see these blocks. Just copy and paste it and built the structure of the song. So if you can see at the top, I have my introduction, my verse, my instrumental break, verse 2, break again, verse 3, middle 8, break, break down, so everything dropping out, and then that outro of the song. Now, once I had that initial chord progression down, I then would add something like the drums. Let's see what the drums sound like. I'm going to play them on their own first. So instead of an actual drum kit, I have used programmed drums, so electronic drums programmed through Logic. Let's just hear them on their own first. Now, I like to use, when I record into stuff like Logic, I like to use programmed drums, so electronic drums. There's a few reasons for this. One, I like the sound of electronic drums. And two, it's very quick. It's very easy to quickly program things like this. So the idea of this isn't to do a produced version of a song. It's to make a demo that we can send to musicians who we want to play on the song, like guitarists, and give the drummer an idea of how I want the song to go. Guitarists, kind of like a good structure for them to work with, and things like this. Send to a producer so he knows the kind of the initial sound that I'm kind of going for, like in a tasteful way. Let's put them both together and see what that sounds like. Awesome. So I have my drums and I have my instrument playing the chords. Now, after I have done that, I'm going to expand this one down a little bit. And here are my synthesizers. So synthesizer is a little bit like a piano for anyone that is unfamiliar, but it's a man-made instrument used a lot in kind of atmospheric music and sci-fi to create kind of spacey kind of sounds. So it looks like the first thing I've added, as you can see in this block here, is the bass. So let's listen to the bass just kind of on its own first. And just see what the bass is doing. So very, very simple bass, just kind of following the chords and just filling out the kind of the lower frequencies. Let's play them all together. Okay, fantastic. Now let's see what else I've got going on here. So the next synthesizer that comes in is this one here, and I've called it Infinity Strings. Let's see what that sounds like. Oops, let's get rid of these two first. Just listen to it on its own. Okay. So that very kind of spacey, almost sci-fi kind of instrument. Let's see what it sounds like in context with everything else in as well. Okay, fantastic. So I had stuff like that to just give it a little bit of texture, make the song have interesting moments without kind of being overly complicated and keeping the keep it like overwhelming the kind of listener almost. As I say, don't forget this is a demo form of a song, so these sounds are subject to change and probably will change by the time I recorded the full idea. Let's see what other synths we've got in here. So we have this one, the end of the line synth. Quickly listen to this. Get rid of these. Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's just play everything that we've got so far. Let's see how we go. Let's go from here. Play them both at the same time. So it looks like there's a section here where they're both in at the same time. So just, yeah, I've just used them to add that kind of texture to the song, make it a bit more interesting. Then, after all that's done and I've got my instrumentation looking good, I would then move on to do the vocals. So let's just mute on solo all of these and just play the vocals. So with my vocal track, you may see here that I have Dom vocal main and then Dom double. So what I like to do with my vocals is I love to double track them, which basically means it's two vocals on top of each other being at the same time, playing at the same time, and it creates this kind of weird chorusy effect. So let me just play the solo vocal by itself. I'll play it with the piano actually as well. Let's just play the first vocal.
Do you wanna go for a ride? It's Friday night, the party's died, and all your friends are trying to fuck up their lives. Show me the house that when I grow up I'll buy.
Not the most in-tune vocal I've ever heard in my life, but it's not so bad. It's kind of good enough for me to just kind of get the idea down and get the kind of the vibe that I want. Maybe I'll use some of the vocal effects that the producer will use or something like that. Now let's put in the second vocal over the top of it. Let's see what effect this kind of makes.
Do you wanna go for a ride? It's Friday night, the party's died, and all your friends are trying to fuck up their lives. Show me the house that when I grow up I'll buy.
So it has that kind of, it brings in that really, adds some clarity to it and kind of makes it kind of stand out a lot more. And then after that vocal is done, I chose to add a female backing vocal to the song. Now, I've always loved the sound of a male and a female voice working together. It's just one of my favorite things in the world. So let's see what we've got here. I'm just going to mute my voice and see what the female vocal is doing.
Living out in different misbehave, crystallize my tendency to always give up on faith. I've been to church, but the stories I can't buy. Well, I've tried.
So I love the sound of the male and female vocal working together. It's just one of my, it's such a heavenly sound. And the backing vocalist is so talented that she drowns me out a little bit and makes it sound better. Yeah, let's move on. So after I've got all the vocals down, it's then a case of just doing some arrangement work and putting it all together. So let's hear what it just kind of sounds like, all going on at the same time. Okay.
Do you wanna go for a ride? It's Friday night, the party's died, and all your friends are trying to fuck up their lives. Show me the house that when I grow up I'll buy. Living out in different ways. Misbehave, you crystallize my tendency to always give up on faith. I've been to church, but the stories I can't buy. Well, I've tried to hide behind a funeral pyre and wait. Are you okay? Safe to say we both had better days. Flip the car and speed into traffic, the weather's bad. You said I brought a jacket. Lay me down by the side of the road where the snow's cold. Come on, get me home. Get me home. And the last time that I saw you, you said, I thought I died in a car crash. I thought I felt like a princess. I thought my heart stopped when the windscreen smashed.
Okay, cool, fantastic. So that's kind of the idea that I would kind of have for a. Mic is very low. 1 second, I'll turn that up. Is that any better? Can you hear me a bit better now? Awesome. So that was kind of the initial idea that I would have for the song. As you can see in this section, the middle eight, nothing really happens as such. I've left this area pretty blank. I had an idea for what I want to happen, but it was really difficult to replicate at home. So as I say, but this is just a sketch. It's kind of to give producers or other musicians an idea of how we want to go about arranging the song. Then when I've kind of finished this sketch of the idea, I would then take it to either a record label, if it was kind of a ghostwriting project, and present it to an artist, or you know, if it's for something that you want to do, you can record it yourself. Let's have a look. So now I'm going to play you what the actual finished song would be. So let's have a look at this. Okay, let's see what the volume's like on this. So this was actually now the finished version of that song. This is how it came out in the studio. Let's see if this is volume. Is that volume level pretty good? Is that okay? Let's have a look. Can we hear that well? Ace, fantastic. Okay, let's go for this.
Do you wanna go for a ride? It's Friday night, the party's died, and all your friends are trying to mess up their lives. Show me the house that when I grow up I'll buy. Living out in different ways. Misbehave, you crystallize my tendency to always give up on faith. I've been to church, but the stories I can't buy. Well, I tried to hide behind a funeral pyre and wait. Are you okay? Safe to say we've both had better days. Rip the car and speed in traffic, the weather's bad. You said I've brought a jacket. Lay me down by the side of the road where the snow's cold. Come on and get me home. Get me home. And the last time that I saw you, you said, I thought I died in a car crash. I thought I felt like a princess. I thought my heart stopped when the windscreen smashed. Swallowed the daylight. Alright, I'll spend the night if we both fight. At 6 a.m. there's sunlight, and then we'll both burn bright. Both burn bright. Both burn bright. Both burn bright.
So there we have kind of how a song changes from its kind of inception through to the demo phase, then through to the finished kind of product. So as you can see, quite different actually from the actual demo. A lot of creative decisions were made kind of in the back end of the process, and got a few more musicians on board to kind of contribute and come up with different parts, like the guitar part, the kind of dun 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 dun. The drums changed; they were obviously real drums, but the crux of the song kind of stayed the same, like the melody, the guitar part from the original came back, and yeah, it was kind of all good. So I hope that was informative for you. So that's just kind of an idea of the kind of the skills that we teach at BIMM Manchester and how the modern day songwriters had to adapt to things like that.
Thank you so much, Dominic. Tack allihopa. Så det var en liten kort taste hur det var att studera på BIMM och läsa lite songwriting.